think that should be enough for our pulls.
Alright, what's going on, guys? Kirk here from Motogear TV. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. And as you guys can see from the title of the video, I'm here to introduce the 2021 BMW M4 competition. Let's go. Alright, so I think right now we're going to take this thing on the road, let you guys know what we think about it. But first, a cold start. Alright, so we're here in a new location, just wanted to give you guys some better lighting. Basically right now we're just going to do a full walk around, showing you guys, some of the things that we do like and some of the things that we dislike. Let's start off with the front, the most controversial part of the car. Just so you guys know, this is the Sao Paulo yellow launch edition color. Pretty unique, very, very bright. Not as bright as what you would see in pictures. It's more of a pale yellow going into green. I know in pictures it looks more like a highlighter yellow. It's not horrible, but I'm not going to say that I love it fully. It definitely emphasizes the front of the car, which is the most controversial, as you guys are all aware. The new front grille design is a bit of a, what do you call this? Emphasize?
Yeah, pretty pronounced.
Yeah, it's pretty pronounced, a little over exaggerated, but still pretty nice as well. These are not the laser headlights, it's actually the regular standard LED lights that come with the car. Still pretty nice. Does have a half halo design compared to the full LED. Now this does come with the 19-inch 20-inch setup, gloss black. In my opinion, this is actually one of my favorite designs. It's very pronounced as far as the spokes, you guys can kind of see. Yeah, very aggressive and very sporty. I would say my only gripe with this, it would be very hard to clean simply because of the amount of spokes, but I do like that you're able to still see the caliper and also the rotor very nicely. Very clean design in my opinion. Now this, for me personally, I think it's a very nice touch. It is one of the most aggressive diffusers I've seen from BMW so far. Looks very great from factory. For those of you who are not interested in upgrading your diffuser, I think this is a nice added touch, especially with the gloss black tips. Now you can get this in a carbon fiber version. They do have the carbon fiber exterior pack. But for this car, I think with the contrasting yellow, I think it's a nice complement. And also the gloss black M4 competition badge, you guys can see right there. Now I'm going to move to the engine. Now this I'm going to show you guys pretty quickly. Nothing too much going on here. Brand new S58 twin turbo inline 6. Pretty clean, lots of plastic, lots of covering, not too much to see here. Obviously going into the next few months, I know that there's going to be a lot of aftermarket support, especially for this engine. It seems to be very, very capable of getting some good numbers, and even for stock, the performance in this so far that we've seen is pretty nice. Now just some quick stats for you guys. It does have 503 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. Honestly, this is more than enough for the street. Me and Mark have been driving it all day, and the way it puts on the power, it's very capable. It does get pretty loose if you are too aggressive on the throttle. But for me, for somebody who's into performance, this is more than enough for the street. And even for those of you who may not be into performance, it still handles just like a normal car. It all depends on how you choose to drive it. Yeah, but I think besides all of the visual things, I think you guys really want to know what this thing handles like on the streets. So right now we're going to go ahead and give you guys a real world driving experience, and just to see if this is worth having.
You can really feel the pull, honestly. Like the 500 horsepower of this car, like, is no joke. It really throws you back in your seat.
It's so smooth even when it loses traction that you honestly, if you're not really concentrating, it'll get away from you very easily.
Yeah, it's definitely not something to play with if you don't have some experience, especially the mode that we're in. What mode are you in? Are you in?
So right now we're on M2. Everything is basically in the highest sports setting, from the engine, braking, steering, and also the shift, and also the transmission shifting. So if you go on M menu, M2. You can kind of see everything that we kind of had it set up in right now. So engine, transmission, the whole works.
But honestly, I can see why some people opt for the all-wheel drive version, because the rear-wheel drive does get a little slippery. Overall, I will say comfort-wise, inside is actually not that bad. I thought it was going to be a lot smaller based on how the car looks outside, but I mean, I think we have a decent amount of space. Yeah, the interior layout is pretty good. Seating wise, again, if you are a bigger person, you're not going to feel the most comfortable. I mean, me, I have enough leg room to kind of spread out, and then even with how the dash and the center console display is, everything is kind of directed towards the driver, and I think it gives it for a better driving experience overall. Everything is basically within reach and kind of laid out nice and clean. Yeah, and even as a passenger, you can see the amount of legroom that I have down here. And then for the back seats, it's a decent amount of space. So you can carry 4 people comfortably in this car, which is always a good thing when you're going for a coupe. I would say it does feel more like a luxury car than a performance. Don't get me wrong, the performance is there, but I think because it's such a new car and it's so nice on the inside that you kind of lose that kind of race car feel. Yeah, like I'll be nervous about or hesitant about taking this to the track. You know, I don't see this as something I'd want to take to the track, to be honest. I mean, I actually think it would handle pretty well on the track, if I'm honest. Just because of all the new tech and just the way they designed this car from the factory. I think it would perform pretty well on the track, but I don't know. Do you want to have such a nice car on the track? That's the thing. If it's your first track day, probably not. But if you're a seasoned guy, I'm sure this car will be plenty fun around most tracks around the world. The shifting isn't as aggressive as the DCT, but still pretty good. And suspension wise, it's actually not that bad. Still pretty firm. Yeah, it's pretty firm, but it's still livable. I think you'll definitely have a comfortable ride on a day-to-day basis. I mean, for a sports car like this, you don't really want it to be too soft, and even so, you can still adjust the dampening in the suspension settings. Right now I think we have it on sport, if I'm not mistaken, and you can also switch it to comfort. Yeah, so you can really fine tune it to your liking, and that's one thing that I really like about what BMW has done with a lot of these newer M cars, is that they really give you the customizable functionality of pretty much dialing up the car to your perfect ideal setting. a pretty fast 50 miles an hour.
Braking is super sharp and responsive as well. It does have a really good initial bite.
Man, yo, it's honestly crazy what these new cars are capable of. Like this car with a tune and downpipes, I can't imagine
Monster.
what it would feel like, honestly. Like even stuck.
It pulls hard.
Yeah.
Very linear with the power delivery.
It's almost too smooth.
Yeah. I like that it kind of holds the power in the RPM range all the way and carries the power all the way through. That's it, brakes.
The brakes have some really good bites on this car, honestly.
We're not going to do a full launch because it's not our car, but still give you guys something at least.
Yo, this car moves, guys. Honestly, I'm super impressed. The new M4 is fantastic. Exhaust, honestly, for a stock exhaust, sounds phenomenal. This car with a catback would be perfect. I would say the car does actually look pretty good rolling down the street. And the grills are very noticeable. They stand out a lot. I think that should be enough for our pulls. We are in a bright green car, so
Too much attention.
yeah, definitely don't want to draw too much attention to ourselves. Seatbelt on. Sounds good from the outside, honestly.
Honestly, I think that's going to wrap it up for today's vlog. Don't really have much else to say about the car. Again, overall, pretty good feedback from it. Me and Mark, we generally like it, and hopefully we'll be able to review some more new cars on the channel. But until then, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate all the support you've been giving us in 2021 and into the new year. Huge shout out to Social Exotics for providing us with the M4 for today's vlog. If you guys are interested in renting this car or any of the cars that they have on their fleet, be sure to check out the link in the description. And again, if you guys enjoy us doing some more reviews, please let us know as well. Until then, guys, see you on the next one. We're gone.